Historical Reconstruction of Aryan X. Episode 28, The Era of Huan Guk, established by migrating humanity, and the Spirit of Scythian Arians, is devotion to the welfare of mankind. Huan Guk means bright nation, and this period is also called the Era of Huanin, the bright person. Huanin signifies a bright person or a person of the bright land. It is generally inferred that the period when humanity migrated from Turkmenistan in Central Asia to all corners of the earth was before 10,000 BC, and the period after that is the era of Huanguk, the bright nation. Now, let us re-examine the location where the Huanggangxi, the eldest lineage of humanity who moved north, settled, and infer the conditions of the world where people lived after migrating to various regions through ancient history books. Among Korean historical texts, I will cite the Hwandang Gogi, which means ancient records of the bright land. In the previous episode, I mentioned that the Huanggangxi, the eldest of humanity, moved to Cheonsanju in Kazakhstan to the north. Let's uncover the truth about where this Cheonsanju was. For reference, the place names in Central Asia, the origin of humanity, were called Chang'an and Chanbu, using the character for sky, Chun, Tian. This place name and character, Chun, Tian, could only be attached to places where the central, leading force, the eldest son of humanity, was established. When the Huanggangxi, the eldest of humanity, were in Central Asia, that place was the center of the world. Thus, Central Asia was the Chun region. However, as this central force of humanity moved north, the Chun region, the center of the world, moved with them and was newly attached to the place where they settled. This is why the northern place where the eldest Huanggangxi moved is called Cheonsanju, the same name used in Central Asia. However, forces that manipulated history have fabricated and placed the historical Cheonsan Mountains where the leading eldest lineage settled near Kyrgyzstan. But the Cheonsan where the eldest of humanity, the Huanggangxi, moved and settled is clearly a different place, and I will reveal its location and evidence. The Ural and Aral Mountains, which currently traverse Russia from east to west, are the historical Cheonsan Mountains where the eldest leading lineage settled. We can see that the Central Asian place names, Aral and Oral, were transferred to the mountain range in the north along with the migration of people, becoming Cheonsan, the Sky Mountain, where the eldest lineage of humanity resided. Simply applying the same place name is not enough to complete historical manipulation. Now, I will present the evidence for why the present-day Ural and Aral Mountains are where the eldest of humanity, the Huanggangxi, moved and settled. The Upanishads are said to be scriptures from long before the emergence of Buddhism. Upanishad, I explained, is a Korean term meaning that it continued from the region of Upa. There is historical content that allows us to infer the location and name of Upa in Cheonsanju, where the eldest son of humanity moved. I will quote the Hwandang Gogi. In the beginning, Huanin resided at Cheonsan, mastered the way, and achieved long life, having no illness in his body. Acting on behalf of heaven, he spread culture and enlightenment so that people would be without war. Everyone worked diligently, so none suffered from hunger or shivered in the cold. An old record states, at the foot of Mount Pana Eru was the nation of Huan Insi. Its territory spanned 50,000 li distance from north to south and 20,000 plus li distance from east to west. Collectively, it was called Huanguk. Divided, it was a union of 12 nations. The content from the attached passage that allows us to gauge the location of Cheonsanju where the Huanggangxi settled is that the nation of Huan Insi was at the foot of Mount Pana Eru. The Pa in Pana Eru is the very Upa that was the stage for the Upanishads, where the eldest lineage, the Huanggangxi, settled. Cheonsan refers to the present-day Ural and Aral Mountains. The nation of Huan In was located in what is now Kazakhstan, at the lower end of the Ural Mountains, and its name was Upa. The meaning of Upa is as follows. U means upper or Sonde, predecessor. Pa means bright or Bep, the pontifical court. The place where the ancient leader's pontifical court was called Upa. The meaning of Cheonsan being Ural and Aral is that the region of rugged mountains in Central Asia where humanity originated was the Alto, the All land, the stage of the Korean birth from an egg myth like Nansen Shenhua. The ul or lal from that place name was transferred to the current Ural and Aral Mountains. It is presumed that Upa, the center of the Hwanguk era, was located between the lower part of the Ural and Aral Mountains and the Aral Sea. Please examine Google Maps. Now, I will cite historical content that offers a glimpse into the political situation of the Hwanguk era when humanity migrated in all directions. 1,000 years had passed since all the tribes left Turkmenistan in Central Asia and settled in lands in all directions. The descendants of those who had first committed the sin of the 5 tastes and left Central Asia were living intermingled in various regions, and their power grew quite strong. However, almost all of them had lost the fundamental truth that humanity is one brotherhood. Their natures turned savage, and when they saw newly migrated groups, they would form bands to pursue and harm them. The migrated groups had already settled in their respective regions, and being far separated by seas and mountains, there was almost no interaction between them. The eldest of humanity, Hwangungsi, arrived at Chansanju in Kazakhstan, vowed to resolve the bewilderment and return to the origin, and instructed his people to be diligent in their cultivation. He then commanded his eldest son, Yuan, to bring clarity to the affairs of the human world, and had his second and third sons visit all the lands to which humanity had migrated. Through this historical content, it is said that in the beginning, all humans were brethren, born from the same mother's womb. In Korean, this is called Sahae Dongpo. In other words, all of humanity is one family. However, as they migrated and lived separately in all directions, they forgot that their origin was as brothers and began to harm one another. This ancient historical text points out a situation that perfectly matches the current global political landscape. To enlighten these brethren who had forgotten their roots, the lineage of Hwangungsi, settled in the north, sent the second and third sons to all corners where humanity had migrated to confirm their shared bloodline and strengthen their love for humanity, as revealed in this ancient Korean text. Do you know what the founding ideology of Korea is? Raise your hand if you know. The founding ideology of Korea is called Hong-ik Ingan. Its meaning is to broadly benefit all of humanity. Do you think there is any other nation on Earth that possesses such a founding ideology? There is not a single one. Except for Korea, not one nation exists with this principle. The humanitarian love of the Hwangungsi, the eldest lineage of humanity from history, and the current founding ideology of Korea are thus in perfect accord. In the historical text cited, it says, "At the foot of Mount Panaeru was the nation of Hwan-insi. Its territory spanned 50,000 li distance from north to south, and 20,000 plus li distance from east to west. Collectively, it was called Hwanguk. Divided, it was a union of 12 nations." This states that the nation of the Hwanguk era, established by migrating humanity, consisted of 12 nations. Interestingly, the scriptures of Korea's modern Donghak religion also mention the same historical content of 12 nations. This means that the political situation before 10,000 BC and the political situation in the modern 1800s were identical. I will quote from it. "Is not the fate of the 12 empires' strange disease a new beginning? An era of great peace will be re-established, and the nation and its people will be secure. Pitiable, pitiable is the fate of our nation. How many years since the Imjin War? Is it not 240? Is not the fate of the 12 empires' strange disease a new beginning?" The 12 nations or empires of the Hwanguk era before 10,000 BC continue to exist as 12 nations or 12 empires until the modern 1800s. This is why I have stated that only one history exists in the world, the history of the Scythian Arians. And it is why all the names of countries and places around the world are connected to a single language, Korean. Arian X is by no means a nationalist. He is simply revealing the truth. Starting from the next episode, I will reveal the true history of Buddhism's birth in human history. Please forget everything you know about the caste system-bound India of South Asia. I will unveil the true protagonists of Buddhism from history, so please contact as many people as possible, and I sincerely hope you will join this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The heavens and the earth will tremble. Subtitles can be translated into the language of each country, so please make use of them. If there are any issues, please contact me via the comments or Google Mail. The Google Mail address is arianrealhistory@gmail.com. The YouTube channel addresses are Historical Reconstruction of Arian X or History Restoration of Arian X. Everyone, your subscriptions and likes are your conscience and passion for the truth, so please do not forget them.